Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. A quick news update for you guys, letting you know some of the shows that have been cancelled in 2023. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So 2023 has been a very rough year for the entertainment industry, especially for Disney. And there's been a lot of casualties in terms of shows which have been cancelled and are either never coming back or maybe just coming back for one last season to kind of finish their story. Now, it's very interesting to see what's happened at this year. Now, there's a couple of different elements that I want to break into before I give you the full list. Now, obviously, Disney are trying to cut costs. That's the key thing. They are trying to reduce how much money they're spending, and this has been done in a number of different ways. First off, they are making less original shows, but also cancelling of shows which aren't pulling in enough viewers, and unfortunately, that's been a really big hit, especially across all their linear channels, but also on like streaming platforms like Hulu and Disney Plus. Lots of different content has been kind of cancelled, and unfortunately, a lot of the cancelled shows have also been completely removed as part of a $2 billion impairment charge, which they did earlier this summer, where loads of films and shows got removed as part of like a $2 billion worth of savings. It's nasty. Most of the films that got removed have ended up being put back on to purchase on platforms like Amazon, etc. But the TV series just seem to have gone. You know, we've not really seen them. And anytime a show is cancelled, you've pretty much, I would always say, you need to watch it because it could very easily be removed. They've not been as bad in the last couple of months as they were back in the summer. They seem to be quite ruthless with what they were doing. But lots of cancellations. Now, and it's important to note, cancellations of TV shows is nothing new. This has been going on for decades. It is fully normal. Every show, most big shows really, come to an end. And that could be because the creators don't want to do it anymore, it's costing too much and it's not worth it, they're not pulling in enough viewers, and people just maybe want to move on. Not every show that comes to an end and is cancelled essentially has done so because, you know, of it being a failure. And I would definitely say, if you have a show which has only had one season and then's been cancelled, that I would imagine that is considered a failure. But if you've got a long-standing show that's gone for 7 or 8 seasons, it's just the fact that it's reached its natural concourse, and so therefore has to come to an end. Now, obviously, Disney is also, like I said, cutting back on how much money it's trying to spend out on making content. So trimming the fat is something that they need to do. Other streaming services are doing the same thing. Netflix, Amazon, Paramount, etc. They're all doing the exact same thing. It has been pretty ruthless. You also throw in this year that we've had the big change with the actors and writers strikes, which obviously caused a number of months worth of production to be hit, but also it gave them time to look at what they were spending on and reduce the amount of stuff that they were doing. So that's a key thing to be aware of moving forward as well. We are going to be seeing a lot less. This just rise and growth of streaming services to try and compete with Netflix, etc., where all these platforms were making as many shows as they possibly could to try and compete. That era is over. We're going to see a lot less stuff being made. That ultimately won't mean less stuff being cancelled, but there's always going to be cancelled shows. It's nothing new and it will continue to keep happening. But this year has been pretty brutal. So let's now run through the list of what has been cancelled by Disney in 2023. Doogie Camillo, MD, Big Shot, The Mighty Ducks Game Changers, Turner and Hooch, The Mysterious Benedict Society, The Wonder Years, Nautilus, The Spiderwick Chronicles, National Treasure, Edge of History, Cruel Summer, Good Trouble, Grownish, Central Park, Saturdays, Home Economics, Kindred, Praise PT, Reboot, Single Drunk Female, The Company You Keep, The Great, The Muppet Mayhem, The Rookie Feds, The Resident, The Watchful Eye, Reservation Dogs, Up Here, Breeders, Station 19, What We Do in the Shadows, Mayans MC, Willow, True Lies, High School Musical, The Series, The Goldbergs, How I Met Your Father, Alaska Daily, Big Sky, Archer, and Bunked. Now, there are some shows that I listed, including things like Spiderwick Chronicles and Nautilus, which have basically been cancelled before they've even been released because they have been sold off to other platforms. Disney just went, nah, we don't want that. We're going to sell that off to somebody else, which is better than just throwing it in the bin and calling it a write-off. But yeah, essentially Disney just doesn't feel any value in them. Now, so there's some big shows in there that have run for a number of years. They are going to be returning in 2024 with final seasons. Things like Station 19, Bunked, and What We Do in the Shadows, and Grownish. They're all going to get to finish off their stories. But a lot of those shows have been either removed or just we're never going to see what happens next. Especially bad with shows like How I Met Your Father, because we kind of need to know who the father is to kind of make a lot of sense if they told us. This is where it always annoys me with cancellations, where they don't kind of get to finish the story off. And I think that's the key thing here. Again, there is going to be more cancellations in 2024. Anything that's not doing well, you know, it's better that they take that money and put it into something else that might do. And obviously with streaming services, that's all about getting viewership and just, you know, getting new subscribers. That's the key thing from this, and making new franchises and making successes. There's always going to be shows which fail that and just miss the mark. Hopefully we see less of them, because if they're spending more time creating better content, there should be less inclined that, you know, they're just bad shows and therefore people don't watch them. It's also really disappointing that so many of those shows that I mentioned aren't even available now on Disney Plus to watch, because they got removed. You know, we're talking about here like Willow and the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. You know, it's a shame that that's happened, but it's been a pretty bad year overall. And ultimately, us subscribers are the ones that have missed out on not continuing these stories. But also, you got to look at it the other way of, do you want all these shows just to continue to go on and on and on and on, and they just get worse and worse, and, you know, they're not the same? Or do we want some brand new stories and some different kind of shows to replace them? Because that's obviously the key thing. Let us know what you think of all this in the comments below. Which show did you would like to have seen maybe carry on? Love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Go check us out over at whatsonatdisneyplus.com. Like, follow and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.